Gather ye friends round your flickering campfires and listen to tales of adventure, boobery, and one of the very silliest stories from the worn pages of history.
Silly? Stories? History? Well, that sounds like...
The Silly History Boys Show!
I hope it is actually silly and not a wacky war with terrible sound effects.
It's very silly, and hardly anyone dies. It's the last invasion of Britain.
And it begins in a dank prison cell. En français.
Oh, je suis désolé. Languishing in this dark prison en français, while gay Paris is flambéed by the mob.
Écoutez avec him, mes coupons/friends. Here, our bootlicker cry bottoms about our glorious French Revolution.
Pardonnez, lad.
Oh, pardonnez-moi, lad. I mean the revolution of Econ Francais and that. But surely, is it not better that we have overthrown our greedy king, who let the people starve while he truffed himself on wheelbarrows of patisserie? Is it not très bon that the people now rule themselves on the basis of liberty, equality, and brotherhood fraternity?
Well, not really, because we're locked in a prison and half of Paris is on fire.
Silence! Regard! Regard!
Bonjour, les criminal scum. Ahem. I said, bonjour, les criminal scum.
Bonjour, Monsieur Regard.
Tres bon, lads. Right, it's a special day here in this nameless jail during the French Revolution because you've got a visitor.
We told you we don't like arts and crafts.
Aye, all them Eiffel Towers what we did make out of lolly sticks are just landfill now, and...
Oi, we'll have no historical inaccuracy here. It's the year 1797, and there won't be no Eiffel Tower till 1889.
Priorities, man! We chopped our king's head off and France is at war with every country that has a king. This revolution threatens the conservative status quo in... Ow!
No exposition, or I'll be sending you for an haircut with Madame Guillotine.
Thank you for the warm-up, guard. Gentlemen, my name is Colonel Tate of the U.S. Army.
Sautillant, un American!
I have come with a proposal.
Monsieur, I am flattered, but I am married to the revolution.
Silly! Allow me to explain. I am an Irish American. I helped free the American colonies from the tyranny of kings.
Ah, free the merchant class from the responsibilities of paying their taxes, more like, disguised by infantile notions of individual freedom, you credulous oligarch stooge.
Don't tease the Americans, Bob. I am here because I need brave men for an excursion to free my mother country from chips and Premier League soccer. Ireland will be rid of that Langer King of England. Now who's with me?
Do we get let out of prison?
Yes.
Then we.
Welcome to the Black Legion. Cool name, huh?
On the 16th of February 1797, the Black Legion set sail from Brest.
Brest?
No.
It would be joined by a second invasion fleet and then a third that would follow after that. The main invasion fleet was going to Ireland, where it would help start a revolution against British rule. The second invasion fleet was going to Newcastle in the north of England.
To start a Geordie revolution?
I've been to the revolution in Newcastle. It's not somewhere I go looking for trouble.
So where is the Legion Noir going?
Where else would one go to make trouble for the English?
Cheese on toast, the cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast. Di, breakfast is ready. Di? Oh, where can that wife of mine have got to at this hour? probably the same place as my accent.
Is that unusual to have time with anyone? Blah-da-da-da-da. All right, husband. Gosh, you're lush, aren't you? Let's go upstairs.
Have you been drinking?
No, I've been walking the dog.
We don't have a dog.
All right, now, that's why nobody brought the stick back.
Are you sure you haven't been to that Portuguese ship? The ship that was wrecked on the rocks, spilling barrels of strong port wine onto the beaches of southwest Wales, where we are?
No, but I did see 3 funny-looking ships sailing towards Fishguard Harbour.
Well, I don't believe you. I think I best sober you up. Ha!
Here we are, Roxy. I'm in the lovely
Attention!
Hey, get the gun.
You
Oh, shucks.
Attention means you stand up straight and you listen to me.
Question also.
Taisez-vous!
Listen up, jailbirds. I sprung you so you could be the first wave of a revolutionary tsunami that will sweep away the British Empire.
The only thing this lot are fit for is sweeping their dandruff off my ship. I wish I'd gone with a proper army to Ireland.
The Black Legion will do its duty, sir. After we land in Wales, we shall march east to Bristol and burn the British fleet.
Oh, if you think that 14,000 jail twits can defeat the whole Bristol garrison and the Navy, then you are barking up the wrong labra.
You yellow cur, sir! You forget how my brothers rose all American-y up against the king!
With French help you did, yeah. Not that you ever mention it.
Wales will rise! All I need from you, Captain, is to land my men in Fishguard Harbour so the work may begin.
Sacred blur! Hard to port! Bring us out of range!
Your orders are to land my men at the harbour.
Not if they're shooting at us, you American twit. Up in that fort, they'll be heating cannonballs in a furnace till they glow red. And then that hot shot will burn this ship to cinders. I'll find you a nice beach, and you and your ex-cons can open a Mackie D's. The 3 French ships sailed away up the coast, out of range of Fishguard Fort's cannon.
Except that they weren't ever in any danger.
Oh, look at that there, Geff. Some ships are coming in.
Oh, that's lovely. We do love tourists here in Wales.
Shall we fire a welcoming shot from one of these cannons?
Oh, yeah, maybe if they like it here, we can get them to buy stuff. A googly-eyed sheep or a pencil sharpener made out of a bit of coal. Fire away, son.
All right, Pat. Croeso e Cymru. Spend money in it.
The French ships seemed to have forgotten they were flying British flags.
Fort Fishguard had fired a blank welcome shot that didn't have a cannonball in.
It wasn't a great start, and it gets even sillier from here on in.
As the French ships travelled up the coast, the alarm was eventually raised and the authorities sprung into action. Kind of.
Lord Cawdor was in charge of the local militia cavalry, and he was doing this.
No, Tabitha, no, don't play with the scratching post. That's not your scratching post, that's Daddy's leg.
Colonel William Knox was in charge of the local infantry militia in Fishguard.
And he was doing this. Ladies and gentlemen, I declare a state of national emergency. I am wasted!
So we're going to tie one on tonight, Tom! Great party, Noxie! This port that washed up on the beach is very great with Coke!
Too true, mate. They will have to get the dustbuster out later.
Mate, tonight is a night for revelry, not tidying up. We militiamen work hard all year, pretending to be soldiers and never actually doing any fighting. The least we deserve is a massive party every few days.
You're right, Minty, hey, you're right. After all, we're on the wrong side of the country for the French to invade. More port!
Sir, the French have invaded.
What?
I know, it's nuts, innit? They've landed by Kyrgyzstan and...
Gads!
To the fort, men!
Can we finish our drinks?
Yeah.
How are you feeling, Di?
Well, I'm dried off now anyway. I can't think how I accidentally lost my footing and fell into one of those barrels of port.
Yes, and then accidentally tapped the barrel and drank it dry until you fell over singing.
Yes, very odd that. Hey, do you know what I fancy?
Cheese on toast?
Oh, you're a mind reader.
I'll get the grill on.
I'll get it.
Tell them we're happy with our broadband.
Bonsoir, we're from the French Revolution.
All right, I think the 5-0 closed the Newport one down. I heard it was a bad batch or something, made everyone very sick indeed.
Not that revolution. We're here to free you from the tyranny of kings.
Oh, that's nice of you. Do we have to sign up to anything like?
Do you want tea, is it? Or a sandwich? Or an entire wedding cake and a spoon, is it?
No. As your liberators, we invite you to go outside while we rob all your stuff.
Oh, it definitely works for revolution.
Disgusting toilets in there and all.
Out now!
At the first taste of freedom, the former criminals of the Black Legion fell back into their old habits.
Bonjour, cocker. Je voudrais all your stuff.
Not my catatonia cassettes, I beg you.
Alors, j'adore Carys Matthews.
Those habits being chiefly crime and mayhem.
They completely ignored Colonel Tate's orders and set about robbing the locals.
News of the French invasion spread like a panic pate across the countryside.
Oh, Napoleon, John of Arc, and Edith Payre for kicking people's doors in and robbing them. Run! Run for your lives!
If Colonel Tate had known this, he'd have been very happy.
But Colonel Tate had his own problems.
Haul away, men!
1, 2, 3.
Gently now, those are the only cannon we have with us.
Chill out, mon colonel. Me, Pierre, and Jean-Claude are experienced piano thieves.
Way me duck!
Here, n'est pas de bothercock.
There's nothing les hommes don't know about lugging heavy gear quietly and safely away from its owners.
Oh, finally some professionalism on this expedition.
Indeed, mon colonel, best in business. Hey, show him your one-handed pull, Pierre.
Oui, lad! Regardez! Oh!
Oh, he made and bugger-like.
Oh! Well, that ain't good.
Upon landing, the feckless Black Legion managed to drop all their cannons in the sea. Fortunately, Colonel Knox has arrived at Fishguard Fort to even the odds.
Colonel present. Shunt!
Thank you, Sergeant, but it's Colonel Knox, not Colonel Present. Anyway, I'm afraid it's bad news, chaps. Those ships you saw were not tourists.
Oh, there's a shame. I dusted off all the left spoons in the gift shop.
They were a French invasion. An invasion that we cannot hope to withstand. In a matter of days, I predict that Daft Punk will be watering their horses in the Thames. I'm afraid the only course of action is to burn the fort and spoil the cannon, though, so they cannot be used against us.
You are, Brev. I'm not missing the cannon, Zeb. People take pictures with them, so.
Obey your order, gunner.
Not likely, son. We're Royal Artillery, not militia. So you amateurs can run if you want, but we're staying by you, see?
You cheeky fellow. I am a proper soldier. Now, where's my sword?
Oh, pooh! I left our swords in the wacky party photo booth. Oh.
Menty! People will be taking silly pictures with them as props.
Sorry, I'm just so stressed with coursework for my media studies and textiles degree. The gunners of Fishguard refused to blow up the fort, and so Colonel Knox and the militia began retreating, and at some point, someone woke Lord Cawdor. My lord. Lord Cawdor.
Oh, 5 more minutes.
My lord, the French are here.
Oh, tell the mustard jerks to leave me to sleep.
Not the mustard people, sir. The slavering forces of revolutionary anarchy.
Ah, those French. I knew this day would come. All those hours I sunk into Crusader Kings, Total War and Junior Risk would finally pay off.
Indeed, sir.
I may have lost all my friends, but by God, I gained a basic knowledge of military tactics. Butler, send word to the Pembroke Yeomanry.
Yes, my lord.
And wang some Pop-Tarts in the toaster, will you?
Yes, my lord.
Oh, looks like rain.
In fact, it was a massive storm sweeping in from the Atlantic and battering the west of Britain. As anyone who's ever been camping in that part of the world would know, it can get pretty hairy pretty quickly.
I wouldn't hang around, listener. I'd be packing the car.
And the French would agree with you, dear camping-hating Uncle Bilbo. Their main invasion force that had been heading to Ireland now turned back to France.
The diversion invasion of Newcastle also turned back to France because of the weather.
And the next morning in Wales, Colonel Tate awoke to a very nasty surprise.
Man, what a night! I'd kill for the breakfast burger from episode 9 of the Silly History Boys show. Maybe they have something on the ship. Wait. The ships? No!
Tate's ships had done a runner in the night without so much as a cursory text. And even worse, this happened.
Yeah, the British are coming! The British are coming!
The British were coming. Kind of. Hurry, laddos! I don't want to be guillotined with a hangover.
Sir! Sir Colonel Knox, sir! There's another pub crawl coming up the road, and their hilarious outfits clash with ours! What do we do?
Lame. What are they wearing?
They're dressed as British soldiers from the late 18th century, sir! The losers!
That's because we are British infantry from the late 18th century.
Lord Cawdor! Oh, you startled me.
Colonel Knox, you're marching in the wrong direction. The enemy is that way.
This is a tactical withdrawal, my lord.
Turn those men around. Unless you want the British to be lumbered with the French service station toilets,
Ew, when you poo in the hole in the floor, gross. Lord Cawdor, we await reinforcements. We are outnumbered.
My God, you're a big, wafty, scaredy cat, aren't you?
I'm not.
Prove it, then.
Okay, I will. I challenge you to a duel.
Fill him in, sir!
What? A duel? Shouldn't we try to stop the invasion first?
Well, if you're scared, Cawdor.
You little punk, I should give you such a beating. Take this.
Oh, you've got nails, ouchie!
Fight! Fight! Fight!
Stop, Minty!
And so the senior British officers had an undignified scuffle at the side of the road.
Fortunately, a hero is about to finally enter our story via a shoe shop.
I tell thee what, mon amies. These British croissants are tres minty.
Oh, wait, Mr. Coupon. Chewy, tasteless, leathery even.
What's going on here? What are you doing in my shop? Are you eating my shoes?
What? Shoes? We thought this were a patisserie.
This is a bespoke cobbler's, and I am the bespoke cobbler. My name is Jemima Nicholas, and you scruffs are going to pay for those shoes you've ruined.
Monk on, madame. The revolution pays for note.
We'll see about that, but you'll pay one way or another.
Jemima Nicholas flexes her sinewy fingers.
The French intruders draw their swords.
And as a result of the Norse colony in West Wales, or possibly because this is a very silly show,
Jemima's cobbler hammer flies into her hand.
Right. Hammer time.
the Black Legion advance on the shoemaker.
And the hammer flies.
Take that!
Oh, my face.
The malnourished bullies of the Black Legion are no match for the heroine's hammer.
Shoes you lose, punks. Come and have a go on if you think you're hard enough.
Hides are tanned.
Go on, take that!
Limbs are leathered.
And this! And some more of that!
And backsides cobbled till the criminals are laid out cold on the shop floor.
That's the stock check done. I suppose I'd better see about stopping this invasion.
Sir Colonel Tate, sir.
What is it? Have our ships returned? Has someone managed to pull the cannons out of the sea? Has anyone found a decent patisserie in this royalist rain trap?
None of that, sir. I'm afraid half the Black Legion had disappeared into the countryside to get drunk. And that there is a fair-sized British force marching towards us.
Fear not, soldier. Our cause is not done yet.
Isn't it? It certainly feels done.
Gather the Legion. There's still enough of us to bloody King George's nose. We shall hide behind those bushes. Everyone knows the British Army in the 18th century can't deal with people hiding behind bushes.
Can't they?
Well, it worked in the American Revolution.
Isn't that a gross oversimplification, sir?
Shut up! To the bushes!
Oh, that sounds bad.
Pick up your feet, Knox, and stop sulking. It's getting dark and I want to be past those sinister-looking bushes before night.
I'm not sulking. I'm just thinking about a sad song that my friends in college used to sing before uni. You wouldn't understand. Gosh, those are some sinister-looking bushes.
Come on. Closer, you limey lobsters. Closer, damn you. Don't just stand there not walking into our ambush. Wait. One of them's taking out an acoustic guitar. They're singing. No, walk over here and let us shoot you.
They're marching away, sir. Marching away of ex-singing.
Oh, all the goddamn bad luck. I've had it with this invasion. How did I tells ya?
Hey, we don't score pub like everyone else, Mon Colonel.
Yes.
Having spent far too long bickering, Cawdor and Knox marched their British forces back to their camp, instead of walking headlong into the lethal ambush of the Black Legion.
While the soldiers set up camp, their officers retired to their headquarters, which just happened to be the Royal Oak Pub in Fishguard, where all our story threads shall converge at the pool table.
Now then, gentlemen, let us have the map.
I've got next game, sir.
Quiet, you. Now, my plan is to assault the French force at first light.
We'll be outnumbered, sir.
We have no choice. The longer we wait, the more chance there are of French reinforcements landing.
We've got next game.
Madam, this pool table has been commandeered for military purposes.
Military purposes, my backside. I've spent the afternoon beating up invaders and locking them up in the church. Where have the army been?
Yeah, where you went, Colts too, is it? Miss Nicholas has done more fighting than any of you.
Well, I was asleep, but I'm in command now and I shall decide how to deal with the enemy.
Look, pal, the enemy are nothing but a bunch of drunk bullies. I just gave them a few taps with my hammer and that sorted them out. Now get that daft map away. I want to shoot some pool.
We've got next game if no one has any objections.
And who are you?
Colonel Tate of the Army of the Republic of France.
I say, are you the chap who's invading us?
I have that honor, sir.
Well, it's winner stays on, and I've beaten enough of you drunks to be playing till Christmas.
If only my men had half your fight, miss. If they had, then I wouldn't be here to shoot some pool and negotiate our surrender.
Oh, Well, that's lucky. There will be no negotiation. You must lay down your arms, Colonel Tate, and you shall be treated very well. You have my word.
I wouldn't trust your word as far as a slot machine, sir. You don't have enough men to tell me how to surrender. I shall await your answer tomorrow at Goodwick Sands. Good evening to you, British dogs.
Right. Our game then.
Yes, madam. I think it is. It is indeed.
And so the final silly chapter of this very silly event in history draws, at last, to its silly conclusion.
The Black Legion stand to on the beach at Goodwick Sands. Not all of them can stand all that well due to all the drinking and stealing.
But there are still more than enough of them to make the British forces pay dearly for their surrender.
Is this all that's left?
More or less. Some of the lads are feeding the fish. That wine we found were, pretty strong.
We never had this problem in the Revolution.
Blah, 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 blah.
I beg your pardon. How dare you speak to your commander in such a fashion?
Oh, pipe down, you twit. This is all your fault.
Morning, Colonel Tate. I hope I'm not interrupting.
You are not, sir. We were having an open discussion about what terms we will accept. We demand to be taken to France or possibly Disneyland.
I told you, Colonel Tate, I will only accept your complete and utter surrender, or we will give you a brisk shooting for getting me out of bed.
You don't have the men.
Oh, don't I? Oh, don't I, by God? Battalion, forward!
All of a sudden, the horizon is filled with redcoats. Redcoats that outnumber the French.
Hang this for a game of Babyfoot, we surrender.
Oh, my star-spangled knickers! To be bested by a shower-wet Englishman is the shame of my life!
Don't worry, Yank. You haven't been done by English men. You've been done by Welsh women! Get 'em, girls!
Oh, I like the look of it.
And indeed they hadn't, for the redcoats on the cliff were not British soldiers. They were the ladies of Fishguard, dressed in their traditional red shawls and Welsh hats, and from a distance they did indeed look like the British infantry. Now, Jemima Nicholas has led the women of Fishguard down to the beach to trick the Black Legion into surrendering, and wielding handbags and love spoons, these daughters of Cymru beat 9 bells out of the criminal army as a reminder to all those who would wake the dragon that the people, all the people, will defend this green land of mountains and running rugby to their last.
Shall we leave him to it?
As long as it's happy, I suppose.
Happy spouting the sort of dangerous populist rhetoric that only Celtic countries can get away with?
Quite right, Bilbo, you English bumhead.
Don't you start as well.
Self-determination for the East Anglian Republic and its relaxed laws on extended family marriage!
This is a very, very silly ending. Are you sure this could be true?
Boredas, I snags!
You'd best be here to wrap this up, you plastic daffodil botherer.
I am. And while the ladies of Fishguard did not beat up the Black Legion with love spoons and handbags, this is, more or less, how the last invasion of Britain fell out. It is, of course, possible that Jemima Nicholas and the Welsh ladies just came to watch the French surrender, and that their red shawls convinced Colonel Tate to give up.
And everything else?
All the stupid stuff that people did this week, they did according to accounts from the time. Jemima Nicholas received a lifetime pension for her efforts and was even arrested years later for rioting against the government in 1824. She would have been well into her 80s by that point, and is probably the only person in this silly but true story to emerge with any credit.
Except, of course, for...
The Silly History Boy Show!
And for all the dusty love spoons, offensive voice work,
We are... Sorry!
Fishguardians of the Galaxy, or episode 76 of the Silly History Boys show. We're back, baby. H to the history, S to the silly was written and produced by the Silly History Boys, who have returned from the netherworld of the Force to do some more very silly history in what everyone and no one is calling Series 5 of the Silly History Boys show. Well, you heard the first episode of that series, but who did you hear? I'll tell you nothing, or maybe for a small pension. The parts of the very silly student twit, Colonel Knox, was played by our dear Uncle Bilbo, who also did a genuinely Yorkshire-sounding Frenchman and a genuinely Yorkshire-sounding Captain Yorkshire. Now, why do all the French soldiers speak with a Yorkshire accent? Well, we could be all stereotyped with it, ladies and gentlemen, but as you know, we would rather pick another British regional accent rather than do a faintly offensive European accent. And also, you know, it's more fun. Speaking of fun, the parts of the all-American Colonel Tate, Minty, a very silly student militiaman, Butler, he always gets to be at least one butler, Pierre, a confusingly Yorkshire Frenchman, and Daffyd Clwyd, he's not a mystic anymore, he's just a man from Wales, was ably warbled by Stu the Pear Bear Perry. He's back in the game as well. I'll tell you who else is back. It's that man playing the parts of Lord Cawdor, an upper-class twit, Le Tom, I wonder who it could be, an oddly Yorkshire Frenchman, and Taft Tom, who could it be? Well, I'll reveal to you, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than Housewife's favourite, Tom Fool Tombo Fermor. He's nearly got as many nicknames as I do. Speaking of nicknames, here's another one now. The parts of Di, who is essentially my nan, God rest her, love you, Nana. Sergeant Bob, who was a Welsh soldier. Taff Bob, who was kind of a Welshman. Le Bob, who was a weirdly Yorkshire Frenchman. And John Le Bob. I've got a particular way of naming characters in my scripts, was all voiced by me, your dear Uncle Bob. And last and by no means least, the part of a genuine folk heroine, Jemima Nicholas, was played by dear Mrs. Bob, who I think did a fantastic job when I foisted a difficult accent upon her with lots of screaming and shouting. The screaming and the shouting was mostly us, but there were some zips, some zaps, some splats, and some boyings who were all ably provided by our dear friends at zapsplat.com. Check them out, genuinely, for any sound effects or even music needs. And speaking of a musical need, a big thanks to Scotty Buckley for the use of his music, and to Danny Bradley for, yes, why not, once again, it's that guitar version of Land of My Fathers, and I'm going to keep using it so long as the great nation of Wales gets into our episodes. If you would like to get into our episodes, or just get in touch about them and maybe give us some suggestions for what you'd like to hear next, you can drop us a line on Facebook at Silly History Boys Show. You can drop us a line on X at shb_show, or you could drop us an email at sillyhistoryboyshow@gmail.com. You will be informed of all our movements throughout the month of October. I know for a fact that me and Wicked Wiccan cousin Lee are going to Bolsover Castle for Histories Made, for some Halloween fun. So put your head round the door for that if you're about. Who knows what Tom's up to, but I'm sure I'll find out after I promote another company on our show. Hey, listen, thank you so much for all of those who came to see us live at at Warkworth Castle for our mucking about, and also for the very, very kind comments that you all left on Facebook. Hopefully, we'll have more great big Silly History Fun Boy days. Slightly different show there, but hopefully we'll have more Silly History Boys days with all of us for English Heritage next year. We have got some of the pipeline. Maybe we might nip down to a little building full of swords in Leeds next Easter, maybe. But I couldn't possibly say. means delete time. I said, shush now, little Bob. What else? Yes, thank you so much if you've left a comment or a review on the podcast. If you do enjoy the show, this has gone on for far too long now, but if you do enjoy the show, we would very much appreciate. I'm a bit tired. We would very much appreciate a review or a like on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Spotify, there's loads of questions attached to the episodes where you can actually give us some feedback. If you would like to do that, one of us looks after them. We're also on Instagram as well, and we try and put as many photos up as we can, but, we do our best. Listen, I've stayed for far too long. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next time on the Silly History Boys show. See you later. Bye!
Cheese on toast. The cornerstone of... Right, we're going to be Welsh now. And do my terrible Welsh accent that I don't have any faith in whatsoever, but here we are.